Thank you again. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to come, reflect on the teachings, reflect on the practice, and take it to heart together for the benefit of everyone. So as usual, again and again and again, we come back as we begin to do that this hour, as well as with anything, connecting with these three essential attitudes, the three motivations of our practice, connecting with our joy, appreciation for this precious, fleeting opportunity we have this moment, with all of its freedoms and endowments, and really connect, expand, deepen, breathe with bravery and love and all the four boundless attitudes, our bodhichitta, thinking of every living being that we can truly be of benefit to them, that they can be free of suffering and all its causes, and know their true nature without any obscuration. And that our own practice can be a means for that, but really heartfelt, big, vast bodhicitta connection. And then our purity, devotion, and trust to the true goodness nature of everything. Our own mind, our own heart, the minds and hearts of others. The essential nature of everything is pure, enlightened, good from the beginning, beginningless beginning. These are the three kind of essential attitudes of all of our practice, and that's why it's so important that we're stressed by our precious teachers to really connect with these three motivations at the beginning of every session, because again, it's from these three attitudes, instilling them, reflecting on them, nurturing them in our mind and heart. That's where all of our practice grows from and radiates and becomes more and more rich and full. It really keeps us right on our axis of a really beneficial and essential practice. These three attitudes are the heart of the three yana practice, of the 9 yanas, of all of our practice. And here we are doing the Ngondro, the essential practices. So I thought, today, just reflecting more, we have such an ocean of teachings. They all come back to our Ngondro practice. There's so much going on in our lives and in this world. We can make meaning of it all and bring it to benefit through our practice. So a few people have kind of asked some just real kind of on the ground questions regarding practice, the actual kind of structure of our practice. So I just thought to kind of generally, gently, simply go over a little bit of that structure, the frame, the container. That's the whole point of our formal practice, right? Is to be a place to kind of catch and hold all these vast, profound ideas and take them to heart and make use of what's going on within ourselves and in the world and bring it in with bodhicitta and all these essential attitudes, and really bring benefit to everything arising. So, we've gone over it again, but I know, again, a few people had kind of asked these questions, so kind of just go over them again. And I don't know every single person who's joining us, especially through the webcast, so again, people may be at different levels of familiarity with the practice. So we have our structure of our Ngondro, right? We have our outer Ngondro and inner Ngondro. And again, I'm not going to go into real specific details here, but just kind of give a general overview to kind of balance everything out and then get to some real questions. So our outer Ngondro is what? These are these 4 thoughts that turn the mind towards the Dharma that we've gone over so many times, and kind of just even in the last several sessions that I've gone over kind of a little bit slowly, these 4 thoughts, again, that turn the mind to the Dharma, that soften our mind, soften our hearts to kind of take account of our situation. So again, what are they? In essence, really looking at samsara, looking at our situation, which presently is samsara mind. And we're not the only beings in samsara. Everyone who hasn't realized their own nature in all the varying degrees of that is in samsara. And samsara is suffering, is challenges, is anxious, is unknowing. The cause of samsara is that not knowing, and all the actions we take based on to misunderstanding how things are. It's not reliable. And yet within all of the experience of samsara, here we are, free of so many extreme situations. Again, this precious human life, the Buddha taught, is ideal for being free of getting out of samsara. We're free of so many extreme situations, both in the human realm as well as other realms of beings. And we have, while we are in samsara, through our fortunate connection with the Buddhas who have realized their true nature, we have this wonderful connection and possibility to practice and take to heart. And of course, it's not forever, it's fleeting, impermanence. And again, samsara has causes. The ignorance and the actions we take, so reflecting on karma, cause and effect. Again, just briefly going over these 4 thoughts that turn the mind. Impermanence, precious human birth, impermanence, the law of karma, and that everything in samsara is uncomfortable. So if we're looking for refuge in samsara, for relief in samsara, for certainty in samsara, we're not going to find it in our ignorance. We're going to try to bring out our wisdom. And how do we do that? We do that through the guide, through those who have realized their wisdom. This is when we enter in this gate of refuge, which begins the whole path. The whole Buddhist path begins in that trust. That's, confidence and interest in the Buddha, in the Dharma, in the Sangha, in the wisdom mind of the Buddha, one who has fully realized their own true nature of wisdom, love, compassion, and through great kindness and our own good connections appears to turn others towards recognizing that in themselves in various myriad ways, right? So then we have the inner Ngondro practices, which are in 5 sections, 5 main sections. We have our refuge, Bodhichitta, Mandala offering, Vajrasattva practice, Guru Yoga, and then additionally, aspiration to realize and perfect our Poa practice, and then dedicate everything with big Bodhichitta. These kind of 7 sections, but these 5 are the main sections are in every Ngondro practice, right? So again, and then with our refuge practice, we're taking refuge from now until enlightenment. What are we taking refuge in? Ultimately, again, in the wisdom, in the Buddha, the fully developed, fully awakened Buddha, the great kindness teacher, the Buddha who appeared in this fortunate aeon. And through the sunlight of his message, so many other great enlightened beings have come to this world and ripened themselves in this world and shared the teachings. Even the second living Buddha, Padma. So right in our refuge practice, we're saying from now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels. So what is the Lama? This is again, the Lama is embodying all the Buddha, all the Buddhas, here embodied as Guru Padmasambhava, embodies all the teachings in all the ways they come, and has fully realized their meaning. Embodies all the Sangha actually appearing in this world and beyond, all those who embody and practice and support each other. And then especially in our Vajrayana teachings, the Lama, the teacher, the Guru, the Lama, so ripe with realization and Bodhichitta, knowledge, wisdom, realization, kindness, unrelenting compassion. Having that guide in our life is so precious. I mean, Lama Dragpa gave wonderful talk a few weeks ago about these qualities of the Lama. Again, Guru, we have in our Ngondro practice, Guru Padmasambhava is appearing, right, as the refuge tree, embodiment of all the Buddhas of the three times, of the past, of the present, of the future, inseparable from all the arhats, all the bodhisattvas and all the bhumis, every single teaching possible and shining forth, all the yidams, all the dakinis, all the dharmapalas, all enlightened wisdom, activity, blessings, realization, and enlightened activity is all encompassed and realized and embodied as Guru Padmasambhava, pervading all minds, all worlds, all experiences. And we're standing before Guru Padmasambhava and all the objects of refuge in the refuge tree, rising up out of this pure lake on a jeweled, lotus. And then our mother and father of this life are to our right and our left. These beautiful conditions, again, in a way, our first teachers in this life. And then before us are all the beings of samsara, who all have their intrinsic nature, and we just have not realized it. And we have this beautiful, all-pervading presence of Guru Padmasambhava embodied. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and then of course the Lama has appeared in this life. Guru Padmasambhava is the living Buddha of this time, with everything I just said. But then on the ground, we have this precious opportunity of having qualified human teachers that we can encounter and interact with ask questions, have guidance, see their example of how they are living in this world at this time. There's context, like this famous saying, right? The human teacher of this life is kinder than all the Buddhas, kinder than the Buddha himself. Is here, and we have this connection. So our own human teacher of this life is inseparable from Guru Padmasambhava. So again, just the point of that is really remember that's an important part. Guru Padmasambhava, inseparable from our own human teacher of this life. The precious Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche, or if you have other teachers. Again, the Buddhas are completely unimpeded. And we are in this world at this time with these great masters. And so from now until attaining the heart enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels. And our Lama of this life is a qualified teacher, like Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche, according to all the teachings. As students, we want to really look at what are the qualities of a qualified teacher. And of course, what are the qualities of a qualified student? But become familiar with them. And what are they essentially? They walk their talk. And then by observing a qualified teacher, equally important, we need to be, like Khenpo says, an expert in knowing the qualities of a qualified teacher, be expert in contacting a qualified teacher. We have so many books, even so many recordings of qualified teachers. But we have qualified teachers such as Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche that we can meet in real life and talk one-on-one in real time in the same room. That's very precious. Making contact with that teacher, asking questions, receiving teachings, taking them to heart, asking, more questions, keeping in that feedback in this life. So, how beautiful, how wonderful, if only we can all really continue to nourish that connection. That's why our teachers are here, to guide us again beyond, from in this life until enlightenment, in all the lives we meet. No Buddha has ever appeared without a teacher. And we are here due to this beautiful lineage that's lived to this world, due to the unending blossoming of these practitioners who've received the teachings and taken them to heart and moved through challenges, removed their obscurations, engendered their bodhichitta, uprooted their ego clinging, revealed their own wisdom, and been a great guide for beings. So one way too, just kind of going on the riff of refuge, is there's different ways, attitudes we can take refuge. One of them is just simply out of fear of seeing how rocky this world is. And then when we do feel that trust in the Buddha, in the Dharma, in the Sangha, and we feel we meet this living being who's embodying so beautifully these teachings and really engendering them, making them available and understandable to ourselves and others. And we make a connection with that teacher. And we start to practice. We're going to change. We're going to become more aware of maybe our challenges. Things might even start to seem a little more rocky. But that doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong. So again, what I'm getting at is we take refuge from now until attaining enlightenment. When we feel that trust, we have to remind ourselves that we are making connection with wisdom, with compassion, with love that's unconditional and uncontrived. And the more we can release the ways in which we are contrived and are stuck up, the more we can truly connect more with our nature. So I guess my whole point of going on and on about this is just that simple part. From now until attaining the heart of enlightenment, take refuge in the Lama, the three jewels, for the benefit of all beings. So then with our Ngondro practice itself, the Lama again embodies everything. When we realize these four thoughts, the Lama is present. We appreciate more what the Lama has offered us. We have more trust, more courage, more commitment to realize the path for the benefit of all beings. We can accumulate our wisdom, accumulate our merit, fully ripen for the benefit of beings. And so with our practice in our Ngondro, we're doing that. And so like as far as the time when we are doing our Ngondro practice, everybody has different amounts of time available to them. So like when we're doing these Saturday Ngondros, generally we kind of make the time we have about an hour and 15 minutes or so, depending on how long we talk. So I've said it before, but I hope everyone knows the way we recite our Ngondro during these sessions, it's not limited to that. We want to recite each section according to our time. So being familiar with the rhythm of the Ngondro, connecting with the meaning is the most important. And so we want to have taking to heart these three frames or three ways of looking at our practice, how we begin our main practice and how we conclude. So basically, again, like we've been doing, beginning with these three motivations, relaxing, breath purification, connecting with the three motivations, renunciation, bodhicitta, our devotion and pure perception, calling to mind and heart the Lama and all the Lamas of the lineage. And then we begin our practice. And we often insert this calling the Lama from afar prayer, which is a beautiful, wonderful, spontaneous song from the heart of Dudjom Rinpoche. And then we'll go to, after that, if you do that, then we'll definitely go to the actual Ngondro practice. So again, these four thoughts, this outer Ngondro, which is on page 27. Again, you can recite this at least 3 times. You can say it all in Tibetan, all in English and Tibetan. Most important, reflect on the meaning. And then the refuge practice. With the visualization, we're going to be doing this with full prostrations when possible. Which again, we've described this before and we do it together. I think we don't need to describe what that is right now. So with the visualization, with the prostration, we're reciting these 2 lines and again, reflecting on the meaning that's so vast, but really with that love and devotion, joy, commitment, courage, and affirmation in our heart. We're making our refuge vow for as long as we can. And then going to bodhicitta, these 2 lines, again, before the lineage, before Guru Padmasambhava and all the objects of refuge, who kind of bear witness to us and support us in really connecting with our bodhicitta aspiration and our commitment to actualize our bodhicitta. Just like we say, from now until samsara is empty, that we will accomplish the benefits and happiness of all sentient parent beings in all the ways that means. Accumulating merit with the mandala offering. If you have your mandala plate, you can use that. And again, we've had a whole other sessions where we go through the details of these things. So even if you look on our YouTube channel, if you want to look at something we've said, I bet if you just search for mandala offering, you can find that. I think we had at least one session where we really went over the details of making the actual mandala offering with the plate and that. But essentially offering everything to the supreme goodness, to the three jewels. And then purifying all of our obscurations with our Vajrasattva practice. Vajrasattva, again, inseparable from the Lama, bearing witness to our own, connecting with our own purification and recognizing our mistakes, including the ones we aren't aware of, purifying through the profound means of this mantra recitation and visualization, using the 4 supports, and then concluding that. And then we move to the Guru Yoga. Again, embodiment of all, mingling our mind with the realization mind of Guru Padmasambhava. And then letting that dissolve after the mantra recitation. And then this aspiration to realize the POA practice. Making that connection with Amitabha as part of, again, our living experience. And then the charity of the body, dedication of virtues, reciting these. Again, all of this connecting with the meaning. And now someone was asking, of course, when we do this, we can recite, like I said, 3 times, all in English, all in Tibetan and English. The meanings, really. Meaning and heart are essential. So however that makes sense for you. And then, as you have time, you can recite as many times with each section. But you want to move through and complete the whole Ngondro. Move through the whole book. And then when you do that, then we're going to do this 3rd part of concluding, really dedicate the merit and make these beautiful aspiration prayers in one voice with the lineage, like we always do. And then again, going back to the main section, someone was asking, really to clarify, with accumulation practice. We have the skillful means of doing our accumulation of our Ngondro. And so we can do Ngondro without accumulations. Sure, again, it's connecting with that heart and the atmosphere that is embodying and holding all the teachings and all the practices. And then to as a skillful means for really ensuring that we kind of saturate our mind and heart and experience with these essential practices, we do these accumulations. And so when we're told, and we're all encouraged to complete our Ngondro. And what does that mean? I mean, it means to realize it in the big picture, really realize what all of this wishes and practices for. And then, more simply in this life, we're going to do 100,000 recitations of each of these 5 main practices. And so with our refuge, that's combined with prostrations. So yes, what we're doing when we're accumulating, each recitation is 1 full prostration and recitation of the refuge prayer. So we're really counting here every prostration. So one recitation with one prostration is one. And we just do that again and again and again, drop by drop, an ocean is made. Again, according to our physical capacities and our time capacities, but keeping that constancy is important with all of this. And of course, prostrations, some of us are older, so if you need to modify, and ask your teacher, okay? But yes, so as far in regard to the accumulations, one prostration with the prayer is one. So you can do one mala, 2 malas, 3 malas, or sometimes if you have a tally counter, you can keep that on the floor and click it each time you go down. And you can say, I'm going to do my prostrations for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever is attainable for you to keep as a regular rhythm that you can hold up, not like exhaust yourself and be injured and not be able to do it, but what can we maintain on a regular basis, to again connect with the practice and generate, heart connection. And then with our bodhicitta, what are we accumulating? We're accumulating every recitation of our bodhisattva vow here. So 100,000. And with our mandala offering, when we're really going to focus on accumulating the mandala section, it's with every time we offer the mandala, holding the plate, making the 5 continents and the sun and the moon, offering it all up, to the 3 jewels. Each time we do that is one. And again, we add and we keep track of that. So we do, often, we don't have our mandala plates ready here, and we often don't have enough time to really do a lot. So we do this mandala mudra. But when you are doing and accumulating, especially when you're accumulating, you want to actually make the effort to get a mandala plate and have some grains and stones or whatever you're going to offer, and have all the materials to actually make the mandala offering with the plate and the offerings. Okay? With the Vajrasattva practice, then again, with the meditation, here as far as accumulations, every recitation of the 100-syllable mantra is one. So we're going to recite within accumulating our Ngondro, this 100-syllable mantra of Vajrasattva, we recite 100,000 times over the span of time we do it. So again, it takes a little longer, but you just see, I'm going to do, 10 malas of this 100-syllable mantra, whatever is workable for you. But we're collecting is the 100-syllable mantra. And then then that Vajrasattva comes in, and then we're reciting the 6-syllable Vajrasattva mantra, and that's going out, and we're just resounding with all the 3 realms revealed as the immaculate, 3 kayas, and Vajrasattva state of everything. And that isn't necessarily part of the rest of the accumulation, but you do that for as long as you have time. And then with the Guru Yoga, again, with the meditation, with the heartfelt connection and the visualizations, then what we're accumulating here is every recitation of the Vajra Guru mantra. Oma Hung Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Hung. Reciting that is one. So if we recite 108, that's 100. If we recite, and so on and so forth. So what we're accumulating here is each recitation of the Vajra Guru mantra. And then we complete that practice, meditate. And then this 6th, the transference, and that making this heartfelt connection with Amitabha, this isn't part of the Ngondro accumulations. But again, we do want to spend time with that. This is powerful connection we're making with Amitabha to it. attain, become accomplished in the practice of POA. Which, again, eventually there's more teachings and more exact practices, but this is making that connection and this essential kind of really important connection with Amitabha. And then this seventh, likewise, we're not necessarily doing an accumulation practice with this, but we're connecting with this pure motivation. And again, this is the seed of our true practice, our big bodhicitta practice. Totally uprooting, our ego clinging and being total nourishment for all beings everywhere. So I hope that's helpful. And then also, as you can with your time, make sure to just totally relax. Like often when we're moving through this, we'll do a section and then we'll just totally let go and just make the big offering, the big refuge, the big bodhicitta, the big purification, the big guru yoga of just as best we can, just totally letting go and just resting in our awareness. So doing that between each section of the Ngondro if you can, but definitely at least after the guru yoga or at the very end of the practice before you dedicate the merit, or all of them, again, depending on your time. But I think really important that we do the work and relax, to totally go home, and then again reconnect with the visualization, the practice, and then that's where accumulating merit and wisdom as we go. So maybe we should just do the practice. I hope that's helpful, and I know I talked with a couple people who I said I'd address some of these questions with during this session, so forgive me if I forgot something, and please do write to us. It's nice, it'd be wonderful if we were in like a real time interaction, but we're really kind of happy to go over these points, because we're all here, right? We're practicing, we're studying together. So like having that interchange is really nice. Okay, so thank you. I hope that was helpful. And may we all bring it to heart. And again, the main, really just remembering how wonderful our opportunity is, and really being with our practice, allowing it to purify us, to open us, connect us with what's more authentic, with more wisdom, more love, more compassion, both in ourselves and trusting to that nature in our teacher, in the fully enlightened Buddha. So again, we'll just have a few moments silence, and then we began our session with the 7-line prayer and lineage prayer, so just kind of reconnecting with that. We'll recite the 7-line prayer and the short lineage prayers, meaning like what's in the Ngondro book itself, and then we'll continue. Okay. Again, thank you for taking the time to practice together, reflect on the teachings, dedicate the merit. Now we move into the world. I just thought, I realized earlier when I was talking about accumulations, I did not go over that entirely completely. So, right, I went over what counts as one accumulation for each of the 5 practices that we're accumulating in the Ngondro. But I just thought then of course the overall goal is to do at least 100,000. Sometimes I say even 111,000 of each section. So I guess I want to add when we are accumulating, again, you see what works for you, but just for clarity, what we're going to do is we begin the practice, we move through each section, meaning, opening prayers, the four thoughts, and then we go to Refuge, Bodhichitta, Mandala offering, Vajrasattva, Guru Yoga, then the transference, and then the final dedication, and we dedicate the merit. So when you're accumulating, often Rinpoches will have people begin by accumulating the Guru Yoga. So in that case, what we're going to do is, again, you go through in sequence the Ngondro, opening prayers, go through, the four thoughts, Refuge, Bodhichitta, Mandala, Vajrasattva, and then Guru Yoga. And when you get to the Guru Yoga, then you have the proportion of time of your practice really allow you to really sit and really accumulate and be with the meditation and the practice for whatever your goal is. Whether it's, 10 malas, 20 malas, whatever your goal is. And then continue. And then likewise, then say, often once you accumulate the Guru Yoga, then often Rinpoches will have people focus on the Refuge with prostrations. So then, similarly, you would have opening prayers, four thoughts, and then have the bulk of the time of your practice be with the prostrations and Refuge, but then so after you finish whichever you're going to do, 1 mala of prostrations or whatever, 20 minutes of prostrations, you do that amount and then finish, and then you continue and then go through the Bodhichitta, Mandala, Vajrasattva, Guru Yoga, and then the Poa, transference, and then dedicate the merit. And then likewise, once you finish that, then you might go through and then have the bulk be your your Bodhichitta. And then when you complete that, then Vajrasattva. And then once you've gone through all of those, you've completed your Ngondro. Wonderful. And then often we keep that practice. We keep accumulating. Some people accumulate many times. So I just thought that should be clear. And often, too, when you're just beginning your Ngondro, sometimes there's a practice which is called kind of like preparing the vessel. So you may begin, you accumulate, you go through the rhythm of going through the whole sadhana, and then you spend more time in the sections you're accumulating, going in the sequence. But then, say you accumulate 10,000 Guru Yoga, and then 10,000 prostrations, and 10,000 Bodhichitta, 10,000 Mandala offerings, 10,000 Vajrasattva. And then once you've done that cycle of accumulating 10,000 in each, then you finish the Guru Yoga, finish the Refuge, finish Bodhichitta, finish Mandala, finish the Vajrasattva. So, any questions, please feel free to call or write, but I just thought to go over that part of the accumulation as well. So thank you. We'll meet again next week, I think, and then that may be our last Ngondro session for a little while. We have our 1-month retreat starting, and then our summer programs here at Padma Ling are pretty much starting right away. So next week, we'll meet again. Thank you.